Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave, episode 24. Today's episode, I've chosen something that I used to do quite a lot when I was, probably about 10, 15 years ago. And I still like to do it sometimes today, and that's play card games. Not your standard deck of cards, but collectible card games. And I'm sure a lot of people already are familiar with the more popular ones. For instance, like we have, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh is still being played today, and I played a lot of this game. I still like the game. I still play it periodically. Um, of course, there's always Pokemon. Again, I play this game. It's fun. I mostly play it online now, just for some fun. Like I don't go and play it seriously. I don't invest the money into it. And of course, there's the king of all card games for collectibles, and that's Magic the Gathering. And this is what I started with. I started playing Magic back in sometime in the mid '90s, and it really got me hooked on the whole collectible card game. I really just like the fact that you get to build your own deck and go up against opponents. Like it's not like a typical board game where you just take all the pieces out and you play with what they give you. You actually have to use your imagination and come up with deck strategies. So yeah, I spent a lot of time playing these games because it's a lot of fun. And I always found that the fun part was actually building the deck more than like playing it. I spent a lot of time just tinkering around building decks and stuff like that. But today's episode, I really want to focus on one because I really thought it was a great game. And I started collecting them when I saw them in the stores. And that was Star Wars, the collectible card game. When this came out, it had rivals. It had Magic was the big game that a lot of people were playing. And to be fair, card games were fairly a new concept at this point as far as collectible card games. So there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. You had Magic, or you had, there was a few odd ones, and Star Wars. Now, at the time, I wasn't a huge Star Wars fan, but I was a card game fan. So I thought, why not? So I started picking them up. And this box here, this one that I showed you, I remember buying this at like Walmart or something for like really cheap. Like they were clearing them out. They wanted to get rid of them. And just show the back there. So the first thing that you will notice about this game is there's two different types of cards. And you have to think, well, it's Star Wars, right? So you got the dark side and the light side. So on the backs of these, I have these all in card sleeves to protect them. So on the backs, you got the light side. So the person playing the light side obviously has to have a full deck of 60 cards that are all light side. And then the dark side, you can see the symbols are there too. So you have to really decide. Ultimately you're going to be building two decks because you never know who you're going to be playing against, or if you're in a tournament or something, you have to, you can't be playing light against light. Always has to be light against dark, which makes a lot of sense. And the beautiful thing about this card game is they had a whole storyline to work with. They have the whole series of Star Wars, and we're talking back in, this is 1995 time era, where we had the three movies to work with, plus all the stories, like the books and the comics. Star Wars is huge, so they have a lot to work with. So the first cards that they actually created, the first series of cards, are really just based on the first Star Wars movie, Episode 4. And so most of the artwork you'll see are actually just stills from the movie. And I would say like almost all the cards are like that, all the way up. This game, unfortunately, it only ran a few years before. I think it was Decipher. Decipher was the company that made them. And it's, I guess, distributed by Parker Brothers. So the game has multiple cards that you could choose from when you're building your deck. Some of them, you need them. Like, you need to have locations. You need to have enough locations to, obviously, sites or whatever it is to play your characters. Building up your sites is what's going to build up your force. And so these are very important in the game. You have these, which are your... If you've played card games before, if you've ever played things like Magic or anything, they have spells and stuff that you can play from your hand. Well, this is called interrupts and stuff. You play that as you know, something happening, like an action is happening, you get to play this card. The other one, your characters, they're very important as well. Without your characters, you're not going to get very far. You got to deploy characters, and that's how you basically take over the land that your characters are on. And then you got the weapons. Again, these are a little bit trickier to use because they do require the pulling of cards off the top of the deck and a certain amount of force to activate them. They're a little tricky, but I mean, they do come in handy in the game. A lot of these cards aren't the actual cards. I had to print these off myself because you just can't find these anymore. They just don't make them, and it's a shame. But I mean, it's a great game. Now, what I do have to say about that is there is a players committee online who has taken over this franchise, I guess you can say it, and they still make the cards today. Unfortunately, they don't print them. They just give you a copy of it, and you have to print it off yourself. You'll notice that I had to do that myself. I had to print off the card. It's right there. It's just a piece of paper, and I had to put it over top of a real card. The rules themselves changed throughout the years. So, I mean, when I first bought this game and learned how to play it, it's a very simple game at first. Actually, it's not simple. The concept is simple. But I mean, there's a lot, like this is a glossary here of all of the terms, and I mean, it's a big book. It's a huge book, and I needed this. Like, it gives you the phases of the turn. However, when you start playing it, you start playing it with the basic decks. So this is what this was for. This was like, it gives you the 2 starter decks. Very simplified rules, very fun. So right here, we're just taking a look at the game in play. At least this is just a little setup that I did, just to kind of show you how the cards would look like when it's all laid out. So you got the characters, they're at their locations. So over there I got some Tusken Raiders, and right there we got Lord Vader with his lightsaber. And then on the other side, you'd have the light player, there's Luke Skywalker, there's Lando. And then over on this side, I just wanted to show a system, which is basically you got planets that coincide with the locations. So you would actually attach the proper sites and locations to the system, and underneath there is just a ship that's flying around. And they can do battle as well. They need pilots and stuff. And this is where the game does get a little tricky because you have to know how to maneuver the ships, you have to know how to maneuver the characters, and I mean, once you start getting into the really advanced setup with the characters, it does get a little bit tricky. I had to read the book several times to try and figure this out. So, as I was saying, like, the rules are, they can be quite complex. The first set that they gave you little rule books inside the starter decks, like these little things here. And it kind of explains how to play the game. It explains all the cards, and you know, during your first run through, you pretty much follow the simple rules, which comes in the box here. But the idea is you would start off, you would choose your starting location. So just see here if I can find one quickly. So maybe I'll try this. Start off with this in play. Shuffle your deck. You draw 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That goes to your hand. Now I got a hand of 8. Then you would start off with each player gets their location, and then the game begins. So at this point, you're counting the force on your side, and then you take the top cards off your deck, equal to the number of force, plus you get 1 for yourself. So now you have 3 force. And then you look at your cards, and then you determine if you could, if you have enough force to play that card, if you can play it in the right location. And then when it comes down to it, you're pretty much playing your characters to the locations, you're adding new locations, you can move your characters around, and then there's a battle scene. I mean, it's a little bit similar to some of the games at that point, where you just have your characters on the field, and now you're basically battling your opponent. The thing that makes this game a little bit more unique than some of the other card games is that most of the card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic, where you put it down on the table really doesn't really matter. I mean, with Yu-Gi-Oh! You got slots. So it depends on what slot you're in. But I mean, and then you just don't move it at that point. With this game, you're actually moving the cards around on the table, which is kind of neat and kind of annoying at the same time. Now, I know I've played a few games with this, and as you add new locations, you start to find that you need a lot of table space to play this game. I was playing a few times, and this, like, the full table was just, like, full of cards. And again, that can be a little annoying. There could be some problems when you actually have, say, a character, and then you can have vehicles that you could put the characters into the vehicle, and then you have weapons, and so you have all these things attached to your cards that you have to all move this stack from one to another to another. So it can be a little bit daunting at sometimes. So yeah, like I think that if you're into Star Wars, it's definitely something that you might want to look at. You know, even just check the link out and see how the game worked. There is an option to play it online too. I've seen there's a client, a desktop client or something you can use. I don't know if that would be fun for a lot of people, but definitely giving the shot to print out the cards. You don't need much. I mean, if you already have a card game like Magic or something like that, you just need something physical like this, put in a card sleeve. And like I said, just print off the card itself and slide it in, and you can try the game out. It'll take a little bit of work. You know, you need 60 cards to do it. So, and then your opponent would need another 60 cards. So, it could take a little bit of work. But I mean, it's a fun game, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. It's just too bad that it just couldn't continue. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. Let me know if you've ever played this game, if you've heard of it, what your thoughts on it are, and if you would ever consider playing this. And there's Luke. Talk to you later. Hope you subscribe.